Drive profile. Welcome to the next level.
Sonic the Hedgehog is a platformer by Sonic Team, a dev division at Sega. Sonic 1 consists of 6 zones and 3 acts to each zone. Each zone contains a different setting, and you'll need to clear 3 acts to progress to the next one. Like your typical platformer, the objective is to make it from start to finish. The gameplay itself is where Sonic differentiates from platforming contemporaries. Sonic 1 is programmed with a unique set of physics based on momentum. The amount, of course, depends on how fast you are going. The trademark loop-de-loops are a great way to garner speed, and so are vertical inclines and ramps. Enemies are defeated by simply jumping on them, and in some cases using the spin attack. This attack can be done by just pressing down while moving at any speed. Monitors can be found in every act and contain different things such as rings, speed shoes, invincibility, and extra lives. Rings can act as health, extra points, and a requirement for special stages. Accumulate 100 rings and you'll receive an extend. If you have 50 or more rings by the end of an act, you'll be able to enter the special stage and a chance to nab a Chaos Emerald. To achieve the good ending, you must have all 6 before the final zone. Once you make it to the end of Act 3 of the zone, you'll face Robotnik and his contraption. Each fight requires a certain pattern to beat it. It's quite simple, really. Difficulty-wise, Sonic isn't really a hard game and isn't designed to be. However, even though it's all based on speed, by the second zone it becomes platform heavy, and I assume this was done to create length. It's one of the bigger critiques for this title, and I can certainly understand this. Either way, it's still a good game in my opinion. Graphically, Sonic is nothing short of amazing, extremely vibrant and colorful. I think what truly hits the mark with Sonic are the backgrounds and tiles. The checkered design is easily one of the most iconic and memorable to ever grace video games. Nostalgia accelerates tenfold every time I see it. It's just a classic look. The scrolling of speed is in effect and is acclimated with subsequent games. This is all thanks to the awesome coding of programmer Yuji Naka, one of the brainchilds behind Sonic and the former head of Sonic Team. The creation of the characters and enemies in Sonic are credited to artist Naoto Oshima, who is also a part of the team. He worked at Sega for quite some time and even formed his own companies during his tenure. The composer for Sonic 1 is Masato Nakamura, who is also a composer and bassist for the Japanese pop band Dreams Come True. This explains why the music is extremely catchy and infectious. It certainly borrows the band's own melodies and even from Western artists such as Bobby Brown. Spring Yard Zone's music certainly comes to mind, presenting a New Jack Swing motif, a genre that was short-lived but great nonetheless. Sound effects are really good, and the ring effect in particular uses both left and right channels. The Yamaha chip isn't being used to its fullest, but it's a good start either way, and the sequels take more advantage of the sound itself. It was all programmed with the SMPS driver, a sound engine made by Sega themselves in order to more efficiently port sound and easily create music for its first-party titles. Many composers use special computers, modules, keyboards, or romplers to write songs before programming them into the game. Compositions can change in this process, but most sound coders try their very best to translate the music as faithfully as possible with limitations in mind. Nakamura has very much agreed with this sentiment in interviews. Nakamura released the official soundtrack for Sonic 1 and 2. This album contains hardware recordings and demos of every song of the respective game. Most tracks are quite faithful to their in-game counterparts, with things such as slower tempos and extra background melodies being present. I uploaded this album to my channel if you want to check it out. Sonic the Hedgehog was released on June 23, 1991, with Japanese and PAL versions the following month. The debut of Sonic was rich and instant, becoming an icon for gaming ever since. Selling a total amount of 15 million copies, Sega's Blue Blur was no fluke. Detailed development and conceptions of Sonic itself are well documented on the internet. Going over all that would span an extremely long video on my behalf. If you really want to know the inner guts of Sonic, I highly recommend checking out Stray Fox's video on the making of the game. His content is extremely good and entertaining. Anyways, that's it for me. I'll see you on the next episode of Mega Drive Profile. Later.